Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Israel has reportedly struck strategic targets in the Islamic Republic of Iran in retaliation for the unprecedented RGC strike on Israeli territory some 5 days ago. Russia and China call on Iran and Israel to de-escalate regional tensions. The United States emphasizes that it was not part of any offensive operation against Iran, while reasserting support for Israel's security. Israel has reportedly struck strategic targets in the Islamic Republic of Iran in retaliation for the unprecedented RGC strike on Israeli territory some 5 days ago. In the lead-up to the retaliatory strike on Iran, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Mossad headquarters for subsequent meetings with Mossad Director David Barnea and subsequently with the Forum of Mossad Division Chiefs, during the course of which the Premier stressed that the Feast of Passover, which will be celebrated next week, is different in nature.
החג הזה הוא שונה, כי קמים עלינו לכלותנו זה דבר מאוד מוחשי, מציר הרשע של איראן ושלוחותיה, כולל החמאס. ומנגד, משעבוד לגאולה זה מאוד מוחשי כשיש לנו עדיין חטופים שמוחזקים שם במרתפי המפלצות בעזה. אנחנו מחויבים גם לנצח את ציר הטרור בעזה, גם לשחרר את החטופים וגם להדוף את האיום הכולל שבא מאיראן. הן משימות גדולות מאוד שמחייבות דבר אחד. שניים. מחייבות שני דברים. דבר ראשון שזה מחייב זה נחישות, הדבר השני שזה מחייב זה אחדות. אומות מתפוררות קודם כל מבפנים. לא מהלחץ החיצוני, אלא קודם כל מהפירוד הפנימי. והפירוד הפנימי צריך להיעלם עכשיו משום שאנחנו תחת איום קיומי. ובאיום קיומי מאחדים כוחות ולא מפלגים אותם. זה הדבר החשוב ביותר שיש.
Meanwhile, in Italy, the G7 foreign ministerial united in leveling an unequivocal condemnation of the Islamic Republic of Iran over its attacks on Israeli territory and pledged to unite further in slapping Tehran with additional sanctions to target its military industry.
Given Iran's behavior in backing the Houthis, backing Hezbollah, backing Hamas, and of course the appalling state-on-state attack on Israel, it's quite right that with partners we take further action on sanctions, and that's what Britain has done today, sanctioning a further 13 people and entities to add to the already 400 sanctions that we've put in place. Iran's behavior is unacceptable, and it's right that countries come together here at the G7 and make those points, not just because of what Iran has been doing, but also as a message to Israel that we want to play our part in having a coordinated strategy that deals with Iran's aggression that we saw so clearly against Israel over the weekend.
London's top diplomat further highlighted that Western-aligned nations have cautioned Iran over its nuclear program.
The West has had, not just the West, but of course countries around the world have had a very clear position about nuclear non-proliferation and the unacceptability of Iran having a nuclear weapon, and that remains the case today. We work through the International Atomic Energy Authority and with partners to make sure that isn't the case.
The remarks by Secretary Cameron were made in response to a comment by an RGC commander who holds the nuclear portfolio in Iran, warning that if Israel were to strike its nuclear program, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei would reevaluate his religious ruling over possessing nuclear weapons.
اگر هر گونه تهدیدی به اقدامی از سوی رژیم جعلی صهیونیستی علیه تأسیسات هسته‌ای کشور به عنوان تحت فشار قرار دادن جمهوری اسلامی استفاده ابزاری کند، تجدید نظر در دکترین و سیاست‌های هسته‌ای جمهوری اسلامی به عدول از ملاحظات اعلامی.
General Ahmad Hajjalab further doubled down on his threat, claiming that in the event of an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear installations, the RGC would respond by targeting Israel's own nuclear infrastructure. Meanwhile, in New York City, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian sought to convince the international community that its blatant strike on Israel was legitimate and to persuade Jerusalem to forego its inherent right to retaliate for the belligerent launch of over 350 projectiles on its sovereign territory.
و اقدام متقابل و متناسب جمهوری اسلامی ایران پایان یافته است. بنابراین باید رژیم تروریستی اسرائیل وادار گردد از تکرار هر گونه ماجراجویی نظامی علیه منافع ایران دست بردارد. مسلماً در صورت هر گونه استفاده رژیم اسرائیل از زور و تعرض به منافع ایران، جمهوری اسلامی ایران در استیفای حق ذاتی خود در دادن پاسخ آنی، قاطع و قوی به آن و پشیمان ساختن قطعی و کامل این رژیم لحظه‌ای تردید نخواهد کرد.
As Tehran's top diplomat further spouted a long list of lies in an effort to justify Tehran's blatant aggression, the U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the World Body pushed back on every single deceitful claim which the Islamic Republic has been uttering as part of the Ayatollah regime's information war. And while pledging ironclad support for Israel, the American emissary further highlighted Iran's direct involvement in the multi-sector war in Israel.
Iran has provided significant funding and training for the military wing of Hamas, which, as we know, perpetrated unspeakable acts of cruelty on October 7 against Israelis, Americans, and citizens from countries all over the world. This long-standing Iranian support continues to contribute to the current crisis in Gaza. While Iran's minister will offer excuses for these actions today, we have a collective responsibility to set the record straight on Iran's nefarious actions, to ensure that Iran both complies with the Council's resolutions and ceases its violations of international law.
Meanwhile, during the early hours of this morning, pre-dawn Israel time, American media outlets initially reported an alleged Israeli attack in Iran in its second-largest city, Isfahan. Per separate reports, the multifaceted attack included surface-to-surface missiles, drones, and other means. Iranian sources were subsequently cited as saying that Iran did not identify any hostile aircraft or projectile penetrating its airspace, but rather boastfully claimed that a cluster of so-called mosquito drones attempting to target a radar had successfully been intercepted in the area of Tabriz. Separately, Iranian social media published on RGC-linked media visuals of rocket alert sirens sounding in the vicinity of Isfahan airport, several kilometers from adjacent to one of Iran's core nuclear reactors. And while a long list of uncorroborated reports have flooded separate media outlets since then, two Western intelligence officials have told TV7 that only the perpetrators and the Ayatollah regime itself are privy to the scope and devastation of the attack. Moreover, the nature of the low-signature attack, which may have included a couple of diversions alongside additional strikes throughout multiple strategic locations, left Tehran the option to save face while in tandem to avoid an all-out escalation that could have far-reaching implications for the region in particular and the world at large. Meanwhile, Tehran's global allies have urged the Ayatollah regime to de-escalate.
Пока, собственно, не было никаких официальных заявлений со стороны Израиля, поэтому мы эту информацию изучаем, пока считаем преждевременно давать какие-то комментарии, не понимая деталей. Но в любом случае, что бы ни было, мы по-прежнему выступаем за сдержанность сторон и за отказ от каких-либо действий, которые могут спровоцировать дальнейшую эскалацию напряженности в столь непростом регионе.
中方反对任何导致局势进一步紧张升级的行为，将继续为推动局势缓和发挥建设性作用。
Meanwhile, in response to the reported strike on Iran, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, in his closing remarks after the G7 foreign ministerial in Italy, emphasized that the United States was not involved in an offensive operation.
The United States has not been involved in any offensive operations. What we're focused on, what the G7 is focused on, and again it's reflected in our statement and in our conversation, is our work to de-escalate tensions, to de-escalate from any potential conflict. You saw Israel on the receiving end of an unprecedented attack, but our focus has been on, of course, making sure that Israel can effectively defend itself, but also de-escalating tensions, avoiding conflict, and that remains our focus.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. In light of the festival of Passover, TV7 Israel News won't broadcast its daily edition on Monday. However, the daily TV7 Israel at War update will air per usual. I would like to also note, if you're blessed by our productions, which are exclusively donation-based and as such broadcast free of charge, please consider prescribing a donation. You can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Last but not least, as ever, I would like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Chag Chirut Sameach. God willing, we'll see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.